My beloved child, listen closely, because what unfolded just 5 minutes ago has shifted the entire energy around your situation. The air itself feels charged, like the universe has finally decided to lift the veil from everything that was hidden from you. For days you felt something unusual stirring in the background, a tension you couldn't explain, a pressure you couldn't shake, as if the truth was pacing back and forth behind a locked door. Now that door has burst open. The third party. The very person who tried to control this entire connection, has just been confronted with something she thought would never catch up with her. It happened fast, like lightning tearing through a silent sky. One moment she was moving through her day acting untouchable, and the next, everything collapsed under the weight of her own actions. People around her froze, shocked, whispering, unable to believe what they were witnessing. But the most shocking part? This wasn't random. This wasn't an accident. This was alignment. This was consequence. This was the truth finally standing up and roaring. What no one expected was the exact reason behind what happened. It wasn't about petty drama, and it wasn't about rumors. No, this was something deeper, darker, more calculated than anyone around her ever realized. She had been pretending to be innocent, pretending to be the victim, pretending to be the one who was wronged. But beneath that mask was a long trail of manipulation, deceit, and reckless choices that finally snapped back at her like a whip. And when the authorities arrived, everything around her went silent. Her face drained of color. Her voice cracked. All those lies she wove so confidently started trembling in the air around her. The people who once defended her, who once believed her stories, suddenly stepped back. Every thread she used to pull your person away from you, every game she played to disrupt your peace, those threads began to unravel one by one. Your person, who once couldn't see clearly through the fog she created, stood frozen, realizing how many things never added up until this moment. The look in their eyes said everything: shock, disbelief, and a heavy, heavy regret for not seeing sooner what you tried to warn them about. This moment wasn't just about her downfall. It was about truth finally walking into the room and turning on every light switch at once. But here's where the real twist hits, and it's the part that will leave your audience breathless. As she was being confronted, your person heard something that shattered whatever illusion was left. She confessed. Not because she wanted to, but because her lies had cornered her. Under pressure, she slipped. She admitted things she swore she never did. She admitted to sabotaging conversations, planting doubts, twisting words, manipulating emotions, and pulling strings behind your back just to make herself look like the hero of the story. The gaslighting, the interference, the fake kindness she used to mask her intentions, she confessed to all of it. Your person stood there, stunned, hearing truth after truth spill out of her like a collapsing dam. Every secret she kept, every trick she used, every lie she whispered. It all came spilling into the open. And in that moment, your person didn't just see her. They finally saw you. They saw your loyalty, your pain, your patience, your truth. And something inside them shifted so powerfully it felt like destiny itself snapped back into alignment. This wasn't karma creeping in slowly. This was karma kicking down the door and announcing itself with thunder. And from this moment on, nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be the same again. A new truth rises now, my cherished soul, one that hits with the force of something the universe had been trying to deliver to you for a long time. Because while the chaos unfolded around the third party, another, even more shocking layer of the story appeared, one that no one expected, not even the people standing closest to the scene. The air felt heavy, trembling with something unseen, something powerful. Your person stood there frozen, not because of what they saw, but because of what they finally understood. For the first time, every strange moment, every sudden distance, every unexplained argument, every shift in their behavior started aligning like pieces of a puzzle they had been blind to. It was as if the universe snapped its fingers and their vision cleared instantly. And in that clarity, they realized something gut-wrenching: they had been played far worse than they ever imagined. The third party had not only crossed boundaries, they had crossed lines that should never be crossed. And when those consequences arrived, they arrived like a storm. But here's the real twist that will grip your audience and refuse to let go. When she was questioned, she tried to act confident, pretending she could talk her way out of anything. But the universe had different plans. Her hands shook. Her voice cracked. And one question from the authorities made her crumble. One question. That was all it took. And suddenly, she wasn't the manipulator anymore, she was the one exposed, cornered, stripped of every lie she used to build her power. She tried to blame others. She tried to shift the story. She tried to pretend she was misunderstood. But this time, nothing worked. Every word she spoke pulled her deeper into the truth she feared most, that everything she did was finally catching up to her. And while she struggled, while she fought the collapse of her fabricated reality, your person saw her in a way they never had before, not as someone strong, not as someone clever, not as someone sweet or innocent. They saw her as the architect of chaos. And in that moment, something broke inside your person. A spell. An illusion. A hold. Gone in an instant. But what happened next, that's where the story becomes almost unbelievable. As the truth spilled out, she accidentally revealed something she never wanted anyone to know. A secret. A confession. A detail so shocking it felt like time stopped for a moment. She admitted how far she went to keep your person tied to her. She admitted the things she hid. The things she manipulated. The messages she deleted. The lies she told in your name. The moments she twisted to make you look like the problem. And when your person heard this, their heart didn't just sink, it shattered. Because everything they pushed aside, everything they doubted, everything they ignored from their intuition suddenly became brutally, painfully obvious. The betrayal wasn't yours. The fault wasn't yours. The misunderstanding wasn't yours. You were the one telling the truth all along. You were the one acting with pure intentions. You were the one loyal from the beginning. And now, finally, your person sees it with crystal clarity. The realization hit them so hard they couldn't breathe. They stood there, eyes wide, chest tight, replaying every memory, questioning every moment, wishing they had listened to the one person who never lied to them. You. And now that this truth has exploded into reality, the story is no longer about what the third party did. It's about what your person is about to do next, because everything inside them has shifted, awakened, transformed. The truth has set something powerful in motion, something that cannot be stopped now, something that will change the entire direction of this connection. My treasured heart, what unfolded next was so intense, so unexpected, that even the people watching didn't know how to react. Right after her confession slipped out, the room fell into a stunned silence, as if every sound had been swallowed by the weight of truth. Your person stood there, their breathing uneven, their mind spinning as if 1,000 realizations crashed into them at once. And then, something changed in their eyes. The confusion vanished. The hesitation disappeared. It was replaced by a sharp, unwavering clarity, the kind that comes only when someone finally sees the truth that was hidden in plain sight. And in that exact moment, they knew there was no going back. No pretending. No excuses. No justifying what they ignored. They turned away from her, not with anger, but with a calmness that was more powerful than rage. Because now they understood, they had been fighting the wrong person. Trusting the wrong voice. Believing the wrong story. And they could feel, deep in their chest, that they had wronged someone who never deserved it. You. But the universe wasn't done yet. As she panicked, trying to twist her way out of what she admitted, something else came to light, proof. Evidence. A detail so precise and undeniable that every last lie she clung to shattered instantly. It came from someone who had stayed silent until now, someone who had watched her games from the sidelines, someone who finally stepped forward because the truth needed to be spoken. Their voice was steady. Their words were clear. And their statement matched everything she tried to hide. Your person's head snapped toward them, their jaw tightening, their heart dropping. It all aligned. The red flags, the strange timing, the sudden shifts in behavior, the lingering suspicions they ignored. In that moment, they didn't just feel betrayal, they felt foolish for ever doubting you. Their hands curled, not from anger toward you, but from anger at themselves for letting someone else come between something that was meant for them, something genuine, something rare. And then came the most powerful moment of all, the moment that changes the direction of your entire story. Your person stepped forward, not to defend her, not to question her, but to distance themselves completely. Every tie she once held over them snapped like dried branches. She called after them, desperate, trying to explain, trying to twist the story again, but your person didn't look back. Not once. They walked away with a determination that left everyone speechless. Because inside them, something had awakened. An urgent need to make things right with the one heart they should have protected from the beginning. You. And as they walked out, they whispered something under their breath, something you were always meant to hear eventually, that they were done letting lies control their path, and they were done losing what truly mattered. And now, with the truth finally unleashed, your person is being pulled toward you with a force they can no longer resist. My radiant soul, the atmosphere shifted the moment your person stepped outside. It felt like the world around them had suddenly gone silent, as if even the wind paused to witness what was unfolding inside their mind. Every step they took felt heavy with realization, with regret, with a fierce, undeniable need to correct what was broken. For the first time, they weren't confused. They weren't torn. They weren't blinded by someone else's influence. They were finally seeing you, the truth of you. The loyalty, the depth, the patience you held even when they didn't deserve it. And the more they replayed her confession in their mind, the more their chest tightened, almost painfully, because now they understood how deeply she had interfered. How many moments between you were stolen? How many chances were ruined? How many misunderstandings were planted intentionally? The weight of it all hit them so hard that they had to stop, breathe, and steady themselves. Because now, every lie she whispered had a face. Every detail she twisted had a purpose. And every word you once said suddenly made sense in ways they never noticed before. This wasn't just betrayal, it was revelation. The kind that changes a person from the inside out. And that's when the universe delivered another blow, one your audience will never see coming. As your person stood there, someone approached them. Someone quiet. Someone who had witnessed far more than anyone realized. They hesitated before speaking, but when they finally did, their words sliced through whatever doubt remained. They revealed things she never expected anyone to expose, screenshots she tried to delete, conversations she altered, stories she fabricated to turn your person against you. It was all laid bare. Every twisted narrative. Every planted fear. Every crafted illusion. Your person's breath caught in their throat as they saw undeniable proof of how deeply they were manipulated. Their hands shook, not with anger at you, not with shame, but with a burning fury at how long they allowed themselves to be misled. They felt everything, shock, sorrow, and a sharp, protective instinct they should have felt for you from the start. And in that moment, something inside them hardened. A resolve. A decision. A vow. They were done being controlled. Done being blinded. Done letting someone else decide the fate of a connection that was never theirs to touch. But here's where the story becomes unstoppable. As your person absorbed the truth, a sudden rush of clarity washed over them. They realized that the only reason they ever walked away from you was because they trusted the wrong voice. The only reason there was distance was because she fed it. The only reason their heart felt confused was because she twisted it with lies and fear. And when that understanding struck, it didn't just wake them up, it ignited something fierce within them. They felt a deep pull toward you, stronger than anything they had felt before. A pull guided by truth instead of illusion. A pull fueled by guilt, longing, and the need to fix every moment that was taken from both of you. They whispered your name softly, almost like a prayer, as if saying it could anchor them back to what they lost. And right then, they knew exactly what they needed to do. They weren't going back to her. They weren't entertaining her excuses. They weren't letting her narrative define anything anymore. They were choosing clarity. They were choosing truth. They were choosing you. And now, with every lie exposed and every mask torn off, your person is heading toward a turning point so powerful it will rewrite the path of this entire connection. My luminous heart, the moment your person walked away from that chaos, something powerful awakened inside them, something they had kept buried under confusion and manipulation for far too long. The air around them felt heavier, charged with a strange mixture of clarity and urgency. Their footsteps quickened, not out of panic, but out of purpose. They finally understood that everything they believed, everything they doubted, everything they questioned, was shaped by someone who never wanted them to see your truth. And now that the illusions had shattered, all they could think about was you. Your voice. Your honesty. The way you showed up with purity while others showed up with hidden motives. The memories that once felt blurry now sharpened into perfect clarity, reminding them of every moment they overlooked. And the guilt, it hit them like a wave. They wished they had protected you. They wished they had believed you. They wished they had recognized the difference between someone who truly cared and someone who pretended. In the silence of their thoughts, your name echoed louder than anything else, guiding them like a lighthouse in a storm. But then something unexpected happened, another twist the universe had been saving for the moment their heart needed direction the most. As they walked, one of their closest acquaintances approached them with a look that said they knew more than they had ever revealed. At first, your person didn't want to hear anything. They were drowning in their own realization. But what this person said next stopped them in their tracks. They revealed details even more shocking than the earlier confessions, truths about the third party that your person never imagined. They spoke about patterns, warnings, things they noticed long ago but hesitated to share. They talked about how the third party had a habit of twisting every story to make herself look innocent and everyone else look guilty. They explained how she slowly isolated your person from the people who genuinely cared, how she inserted herself into situations she didn't belong in, and how she manipulated emotions subtly but continuously. Your person's chest tightened as they listened. Each sentence unlocked another memory, another moment they misread, another time they chose the wrong person to trust. And for the first time, they understood just how deeply the deception ran. Then came the revelation that changed everything. This acquaintance told your person that the third party had been terrified of one thing more than anything else, your connection. Not because it was casual. Not because it was temporary. But because she sensed how powerful it was, how real, how pure, how impossible for her to compete with. She knew your person felt something for you that she could never replicate. Something she couldn't control. Something she couldn't manipulate. So she did the only thing she knew, she attacked it. Not openly. Not obviously. But quietly, through whispers, doubts, misinterpretations, misdirections. And when your person heard this, their heart sank with an intensity that nearly broke them. Because suddenly, the narrative flipped. The story changed. The hero and villain roles realigned. And everything in them screamed that they had walked away from the wrong person. They now understood that you were never the problem. You were the answer they didn't see. But the most powerful moment was still to come. As they stood there, absorbing the truth, a heavy calm washed over them, the kind that comes right before someone makes the biggest decision of their life. Their eyes softened. Their shoulders lowered. Their heartbeat steadied. And for the first time in what felt like forever, they allowed themselves to feel what they had been denying. The love they buried. The connection they suppressed. The pain of losing someone who never deserved the distance. They felt it all, raw, overwhelming, real. And with that realization came something unshakable: they were done running. Done hiding behind excuses. Done letting someone else control the destiny of a connection that was meant to be protected, not destroyed. As they looked toward the direction where your energy felt strongest, they whispered a quiet promise to the universe. One that will set the next chapter of this story into motion with unstoppable force. My destined soul, the moment your person made that silent promise, the energy around them shifted with a force that even they couldn't ignore. It felt like the universe itself was guiding their every breath, pushing them forward, urging them to finally step out of the shadows of confusion and into the clarity they had been avoiding for far too long. Their heartbeat grew louder, not from fear, but from awakening. Every memory of you that they pushed down began rising to the surface all at once. The way you looked at them with sincerity. The way your energy felt safe without even trying. The way you told the truth even when it hurt. And most of all, the way they always felt an unexplainable pull toward you, even when circumstances pushed you both apart. Now that the fog of manipulation had cleared, they could finally feel what had been there the entire time, a connection that was never ordinary. A bond that was never random. A feeling that had been silently waiting for them to recognize it. As they stood in that emotional hurricane, another revelation struck them, hitting harder than anything before. They remembered moments where their intuition screamed at them to check the truth, to question the sudden changes, to trust the energy more than the words. They remembered instances when something felt off, when your silence hurt more than it should, when they missed you more than they wanted to admit. And suddenly, they realized that the universe had been trying to warn them through signs, dreams, repeated thoughts, yet every time they came close to understanding, she pulled them back with another lie, another emotional twist, another trap disguised as comfort. The guilt crawled up their spine as they accepted how easily they let themselves be influenced by someone who didn't even care for their happiness. Their chest tightened, not because of the past, but because they saw how much pain you must have endured silently while they believed someone else's words over your sincerity. The regret was overwhelming, sharp, undeniable. But then, just as regret tried to consume them, something powerful ignited inside their heart. A realization that this connection wasn't damaged beyond repair. That destiny doesn't fall apart from outside interference. That truth always finds its way, no matter how deeply it's buried. And in that moment, your person made a decision that will alter the entire trajectory of this story. They decided they were going to face you, not with excuses, not with fear, but with honesty. They wanted to speak their truth. They wanted to acknowledge their mistakes. They wanted to take responsibility for the hurt they caused, not because they were forced to, but because they finally understood the value of what they almost lost. And the thought of you slipping away forever struck them harder than anything the third party ever did. Their steps turned determined. Their breathing steadied. Their eyes sharpened with a newfound purpose. They weren't walking away from the past anymore, they were walking toward the future. Toward reconciliation. Toward truth. Toward the connection that had been calling them from the beginning. And with every step they took, the universe aligned itself around them, clearing the path, opening the doors, preparing the moment where everything, every lie, every truth, every emotion, would collide into one life-changing encounter. Because now your person isn't just coming back, they're coming back transformed, awakened, and ready to fight for what they finally understand was theirs all along.